A voice actress fell for a man without knowing who he really was. Central Park bleeds with the colors of late October. A biting wind sweeps through the skeletal trees, swirling dead maple leaves into miniature copper cyclones. Arya Thorne sits on a secluded iron bench, her frame swallowed by an oversized wool coat. She pulls her turtleneck sweater high, masking her face up to the bridge of her nose, leaving only her sorrowful eyes and flushed cheeks exposed to the biting air. To any passer-by, she is just another New Yorker hiding from the chill. In reality, she is hiding from the world. Her thumb hovers over her phone screen. The glare feels like a physical burn. Cancel Arya. The headline screams in bold, digital ink. Below it, the deepfake video plays for the 1,000th time today. 10 million views. In the grainy, manufactured footage, a digital ghost wearing Arya's face snarls at a 6-year-old co-star. "You are useless. Get out of my sight before I have you blacklisted." The fake voice screeches. Arya shudders, locking the screen. The silence of the park feels heavy. The irony is a bitter pill to swallow. She had spent a decade being the voice of Princess Ilara, the global symbol of kindness. On that actual day of filming, she had been the one cradling that child after a fall, whispering comfort. But the internet does not care for the truth when a lie is more scandalous. She chose silence, not because she lost her voice, but because she knew that right now, the world was too loud to listen to her truth. Lost in her thoughts, a sharp, wet thud breaks the quiet. A few yards away, a little girl stands frozen. Her strawberry ice cream lies face down in the gray slush of the path. She is small, perhaps 5, wearing a yellow raincoat that looks too bright for such a gray day. The girl, Maya, does not scream. She does not throw a tantrum. She simply stares at the melting puddle with a hollow, haunting disappointment. It is the look of a child who has already learned that everything she loves eventually disappears, a silence carved by the loss of her mother. A man kneels beside her. Liam. His coat is expensive but worn, his dark hair disheveled by the wind. He looks like a man trying to hold together a crumbling house with bare hands. "It is okay, Maya," Liam says, his voice low and weary. "We can get another one. Don't look at it. It is just ice cream." Maya does not move. She pulls her shoulders in, retreating into a shell of silence. Liam sighs, rubbing his face. "Please, sweetheart, say something. Do you want the vanilla instead, or chocolate?" Silence. The gap between them feels like an ocean. Arya watches them, her heart aching. She recognizes that silence. It is the same cage she has been living in. Every instinct honed over 1,000 recording sessions screams at her to move. She needs to know if her voice is still a gift, or if the world has truly turned it into a weapon. Arya stands. She approaches slowly, keeping a respectful distance, and sinks into a crouch. Maya's gaze remains fixed on the mud. Arya takes a breath. She lets the tension leave her throat. When she speaks, the tired woman in the wool coat vanishes. In her place, a radiant, ethereal warmth fills the air. It is the voice that has tucked millions of children into bed, the voice of Princess Ilara. "Hey there, little explorer," Arya whispers. The tone is crystalline, shimmering with a touch of magic. "Do you want to hear a secret?" Maya's head tilts, almost imperceptibly. "Your ice cream didn't actually fall," Arya continues, her voice dancing like sunlight on water. "It just decided to go on a secret mission. Right now, deep under the ground, the ants are having the biggest, sweetest party of the year, and they are all cheering for you because you gave them a miracle." Maya finally looks up. Her eyes, wide and glassy, lock onto Arya's exposed red-rimmed eyes. The frozen corners of the girl's mouth tremble, then slowly, miraculously, turn upward. Liam stares at Arya, his breath catching in his throat. He doesn't see a disgraced star. He hears a melody that has just pierced through his daughter's darkest clouds. "How?" Liam breathes, his voice trembling. He has never heard a voice so healing, so pure. "Who are you?" Arya offers a small, hidden smile behind her sweater. Just someone who knows how much a voice can matter. The following morning, the aroma of roasted beans and steamed milk fills a quiet corner of a small cafe near Echo Park. Arya sits at a corner table, her eyes darting toward the door every time the bell jingles. She is a woman on the edge, a ghost haunting her own life. Liam enters, looking like he hasn't slept. When his eyes find hers, a flash of genuine relief washes over his tired features. He sits across from her, leaning forward with an intensity that makes Arya's heart skip. "I have tried everything." Liam starts, his voice thick with desperation. "Doctors, therapists, specialists. Maya hasn't smiled like that since her mother passed away. Not once. But yesterday, that voice of yours. It was the first time the light came back into her eyes." Arya grips her coffee cup, the warmth seeping into her cold fingers. The urge to tell him everything, to scream that she is Arya Thorne and she is innocent, burns in her throat. But the memory of the online lynch mob silences her. "I can help her," Arya says, her voice steady but cautious. "But I have conditions, Mr. Sterling. I need this to be a normal job. No questions about my past. No background checks. I need to be invisible." Liam frowns, his protective instincts flickering. "That is a lot to ask of a father. I am a former preschool teacher." Arya lies, the words tasting like ash. "I was unfairly dismissed. The social judgment, the rumors, it was too much. I am just looking for a place where I can be judged by my heart, not by a headline. To you and Maya, my name is Rose." Liam studies her. He sees the pain mirrored in her gaze, a reflection of his own grief. He doesn't see a disgraced star. He sees a kindred spirit seeking sanctuary. "Deal," he says, reaching across the table to shake her hand. "Whatever you are running from, Rose, it stays outside my door." The afternoons that follow transform into a clandestine ritual of healing. Arya arrives at Liam's unassuming brownstone apartment, a comfortable, cozy space filled with books, warm rugs, and Maya's scattered toys, feeling truly lived in and safe every day at 4. She doesn't arrive with the ego of a performer. She comes as a friend. In Maya's playroom, Arya becomes a shapeshifter of sound. One moment, she is a squeaky, overexcited squirrel teaching Maya how to count acorns. The next, she is a wise, bumbling old owl narrating the history of the stars. "Do you think the stars ever get lonely, Rose?" Maya whispers one afternoon, her voice small but finally present. Arya shifts her tone into a gentle, melodic hum, reminiscent of a lullaby. "Oh, never, little one, because they have the moon to watch over them, and they have us to make wishes on them. You are never alone when you have a story to tell." Liam stands by the doorframe, unnoticed, watching the scene unfold. He is captivated. He hears something raw and profoundly kind in Rose. He watches her face light up as she animates a stuffed rabbit, and he realizes he isn't just watching a teacher. He is watching a woman who pours her entire soul into the act of making a child feel safe. For Arya, this is more than a job. Every time Maya laughs, a brick is removed from the wall around Arya's heart. She is testing a theory. Can she be loved for the essence of who she is, or is she only as valuable as the name Arya Thorne? In the quiet hum of the penthouse, she begins to hope that for the first time in her life, the voice truly is enough. The normal-sized kitchen in Liam's apartment is bathed in the amber glow of the setting sun, casting long, peaceful shadows over the wooden butcher block countertops. The quiet, solitary routine of the home has begun to melt away, replaced by the scent of simmering tomato sauce and the sound of Maya's humming. Arya, known to them only as Rose, is busy dicing vegetables, her movements fluid and practiced. Maya stands on a stepping stool beside her, carefully washing a head of lettuce. For a moment, the digital vitriol of the outside world feels like a distant, bad dream. Suddenly, Arya feels a small, warm pressure against her palm. She looks down to see Maya's tiny fingers interlaced with hers. The girl looks up, her eyes bright with a spark that hadn't been there weeks ago. "Thank you, Princess," Maya whispers, her voice soft but clear. The word strikes Arya like a physical blow. It is the title she held for a decade, the one currently being dragged through the mud by millions of strangers. To hear it from Maya, spoken with such pure, untainted love, shatters Arya's composure. A sob escapes her throat before she can catch it. Tears blur her vision, spilling over as she sinks to her knees to hug the little girl. She weeps for the joy of Maya's recovery, but also for the crushing loneliness of being a pariah in a world that refuses to see her true heart. Liam is there in an instant. He doesn't ask for an explanation. He simply kneels and pulls them both into his arms. His embrace is firm, a sanctuary of wool and cedarwood. As Maya wanders back to her lettuce, Liam stays close. He turns Arya toward him, his hands resting gently on her shoulders. The air between them thickens, charged with an undeniable magnetic pull. Arya can hear the frantic rhythm of his heart, a staccato beat that mirrors her own. In his eyes, she sees a profound respect, a tenderness that makes her feel truly seen for the first time in years. "Rose," he murmurs. His face inches from hers. "You have no idea what you have done for us. You are a miracle." The weight of the lie suddenly feels like lead in her chest. The guilt is suffocating. She wants to scream the truth, to strip away the mask of Rose and reveal the scarred woman underneath. "I am not who you think I am." She wants to sob. "I am Arya Thorne. I am the monster the internet is cursing. I am a lie." The confession is at the very tip of her tongue. She draws a breath to speak, but then she glances at Maya. The girl is smiling a real, genuine smile. She looks back at Liam, seeing the budding love and trust in his gaze. A cold realization paralyzes her. If she tells him now, would he see the truth? Or would he see a calculated actress who wormed her way into his home to use his daughter as a prop for her redemption arc? The fear of seeing his warmth turn into the same disgust she sees in her comment sections is too much to bear. Arya swallows the truth, forcing it back into the dark corners of her mind. She offers a weak, watery smile instead. I am just so happy she is okay," Arya whispers, leaning her forehead against his chest. She chooses the safety of the mask. She chooses the comfort of Rose, even if every heartbeat in this beautiful home is a reminder of the deception she is living. The gleaming halls of the Hudson Yards Mall are a labyrinth of glass and high-end fashion. Arya walks beside Liam, her hand tucked into his arm, while Maya skips ahead, mesmerized by the sparkling displays. For a few fleeting moments, Arya feels almost normal, but then she speaks. "Maya, sweetheart, stay close," Arya says, her voice carrying that melodic, rhythmic lilt that defined her career. A group of teenagers nearby freeze. One girl looks at Arya masked and hatted, then back at her phone, where the viral scandal video is looping. "Wait," the girl whispers. "That voice, that's her, that's Arya Thorne." The transformation is instantaneous. 4 smartphones are yanked out, lenses aimed at Arya, like gun barrels. "Hey, are you the one who yells at kids?" a boy shouts, blocking their path. "Give us a line, princess. Tell us how fake you are." The air in Arya's lungs turns to ice. The bright mall lights become blinding spots in her vision. "Not here. Not in front of Maya," she prays. Her hands tremble violently. The suffocating grip of a panic attack tightens around her throat. "Stop it," Maya cries, clinging to Arya's coat in terror. Liam's reaction is not that of a confused father, but of a commander. His entire aura shifts. The gentle man vanishes, replaced by someone of terrifying, calculated stillness. He steps in front of Arya, shielding her completely. His eyes turn into shards of flint. He does not shout. He fixes his gaze on the teenagers, his presence so imposing they instinctively retreat. "Lower the phones," Liam says. His voice is a low, controlled rumble, carrying a weight of absolute command. "It's a public space," the girl shouts, though her bravado wavers. Liam takes a single step forward, his shadow falling over them. "If you continue to harass her and violate this child's privacy, you will face legal consequences more severe than you can imagine. I will personally ensure that every frame you record is tracked, and your guardians will hear from a legal team that does not make empty threats. Think very carefully about your next move." The boy holding the lead camera blinks, visibly shaken by the terrifying certainty in Liam's eyes. One by one, the lenses drop. The group mutters and disappears into the crowd. Arya is gasping for air, her world spinning. Liam immediately turns to her, his touch firm and grounding. As he guides them toward a private exit, Arya's mind races through the fog. How did a quiet father command a crowd like that? She looks at the man shielding them and realizes the truth about Liam Sterling is far more complex than she ever imagined. The echoes of the mall incident haunt the silence of the penthouse. Arya sits in the kitchen, but her eyes keep drifting toward Liam's study. The way he had silenced those teenagers wasn't just protective, it was practiced. It was the behavior of a man used to dismantling threats with a single sentence. Later that evening, while Liam is putting Maya to bed, Arya steps into his modest home office to return a book. As she sets it on the oak desk, something catches the light. Tucked inside an open drawer is a watch box. She shouldn't look, but curiosity wins. Inside lies a Patek Philippe Grand Complications, a limited edition piece worth more than a suburban home. Her heart stutters. A normal single father, even a successful one, doesn't leave a $250,000 timepiece in a desk drawer. Arya begins to look closer, her senses sharpened by the adrenaline of her own secrets. She recalls the black SUVs that always seem to be 2 blocks behind them when they go to the park. She remembers the way the concierge bows just a little too low when Liam passes. He has shadows men in dark suits who blend into the background, watching them from a distance. "Who are you, Liam?" Driven by a cocktail of fear and desperation, she retreats to her room and opens her laptop. She types Liam Sterling into every search engine she knows. The results are baffling. There are thousands of Liam Sterlings, but none of them are him. There are no social media profiles, no business LinkedIn, no digital footprint, and yet, this seemingly ordinary man, living in a quiet, middle-class neighborhood, casually keeps a $250,000 watch tucked in an ordinary desk drawer. In the age of information, a total lack of data is the loudest red flag of all. Panic, familiar and cold, seeps back into her chest. Her mind, already frayed by her own scandal, begins to weave dark possibilities. To be that invisible on the internet requires immense power or immense guilt. Is he a high-level criminal? A fixer for the underground? An international con artist who targeted her because she was vulnerable? Her hands shake as she closes the laptop. She looks at the door, half expecting him to be standing there, his warm smile replaced by the icy flint she saw at the mall. She is a woman living a lie, falling for a man who might be a much bigger one. She feels a frantic urge to grab her bag and run, to disappear before whatever storm follows him catches her too. But then, she hears his soft laughter from the hallway as he finishes a bedtime story for Maya. Arya stands frozen in the center of her room, caught between the man she loves and the monster she fears he might be. In this house of shadows, she realizes she isn't the only one wearing a mask. The apartment is silent, bathed in the soft, warm glow of a simple reading lamp. They had just finished watching a classic black and white film, the kind of evening that felt like a fragile promise of a shared future. Maya is tucked away in her room, dreaming of the stories Rose tells her. The romantic stillness is broken when Liam's phone buzzes sharply. He checks it, a familiar hardness returning to his jaw. "A crisis at the office," he mutters, his voice apologetic. "I need to take this in the study. I will be 10 minutes. He hurries away, leaving his tablet lying face up on the coffee table. Arya watches him go, her heart heavy with the suspicions from the previous day. She stands up, intending to bring the device to him, but as she reaches for it, the screen illuminates. A push notification from a private internal app slides across the top. Internal, Sterling Media Group. President Sterling, the legal filings regarding the Arya Thorne deepfake case are complete and ready for your final approval. The air leaves Arya's lungs. Her world stops. With trembling fingers, she swipes the notification. There is no password. The internal dashboard is wide open. Her eyes fly over the documents. It isn't just a legal brief. It is a comprehensive crisis management strategy. She sees her own name, her face, and a list of employees at Sterling Media who had been fired 48 hours ago for taking bribes to propagate the fake video. She isn't looking at a lover's notes. She is looking at a chessboard where she is the most important piece. The man she thought was her peaceful harbor is actually the god of the very empire that burned her life to the ground. She feels a wave of nausea. Every moment they shared, every kiss, every tear she shed on his shoulder was he just managing her? Was she just a high-stakes project for William Sterling, the reclusive billionaire king of media? A floorboard creaks. Aria looks up, her face ashen, the tablet shaking in her hands. Liam stands in the doorway. The warmth is gone. His posture is rigid, his expression unreadable. He doesn't rush to comfort her. Instead, he walks forward with a predatory grace, his eyes fixed on the device. Without a word, he reaches out and firmly takes the tablet from her hand. The transition from the tender father to the cold, decisive CEO is so seamless it makes Aria's skin crawl. "You weren't supposed to see that yet," he says, his voice a low, commanding baritone. "William Sterling." Aria whispers, her voice cracking. "That's you. You are the man behind the curtain. You've sat here, watching me fall apart every single day, while you own the very machine that crushed me." Liam's gaze doesn't waver. It is the look of a man used to winning at any cost. "I do not own the cruelty of my employees, Aria, but I own the means to make them pay. I have spent every waking hour, since I met you, dismantling the lies they built. I am not your enemy." "No," Aria says, stepping back as if burned. "You are just a savior I never asked for. You turned my life into a folder on your desk. Did you love me, Liam? Or was I just a crisis that needed your final approval?" She feels a suffocating sense of loss. It wasn't just the scandal anymore. It was the realization that in his world of absolute power, she was never his equal. She was a victim to be rescued, a soul to be managed. The massive gulf of his status felt like a canyon between them, and for the first time, the princess felt utterly powerless in the tower he had built. The morning sun filters through the standard bay windows, but the apartment feels colder than the air outside. The comfortable, everyday living room has been jarringly transformed into a war room, filled with a formidable team of lawyers and PR strategists in charcoal suits. The quiet warmth of the home has been replaced by the sterile hum of laptops and hushed, calculated whispers. Liam stands at the center, pointing to a large monitor. "This is the raw footage. Aria," he says, his voice professional and detached. "We have traced the digital signature. It was your former manager, Sarah, in collaboration with your rival, Claire. They used a proprietary AI from a subsidiary company to graft the audio." He clicks a button, revealing a plan for a televised public shaming. "I am going to blacklist them from the industry permanently. Tomorrow, we hold a press conference. I'll have them on their knees, apologizing to you in front of every major network in the country." Aria looks at the screen, then at the men in the room who are staring at her like a problem to be solved. She feels a sickening sense of déjà vu. "You're going to crush them," she says softly. "I'm going to destroy them," Liam corrects, his eyes flashing with the ruthlessness of a monarch. "For what they did to you. And how is that different from what they did to me?" Aria's voice rises, regaining its natural, resonant strength. "They used power to silence me. Now you're using power to silence them. It's just more violence, Liam, more manipulation." She realizes that if she walks onto that stage as William Sterling's protégé, she will never truly have her voice back. She will merely be a trophy of his influence, a bird moved from a dark cage to a golden one. Aria walks toward the door, picking up her worn, silver microphone, the one she had when she started 10 years ago, before the fame and the filters. "Where are you going?" Liam demands, stepping toward her. The billionaire is momentarily replaced by a man terrified of losing his anchor. "Aria, wait. Why are you refusing this? I am giving you back everything they stole." Aria stops, her hand on the cold brass handle. She turns to face him, her eyes brimming with tears but her gaze unwavering. "You're giving me back my career, Liam, but you're stealing my self-respect in the process," she says, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "I am not a broken doll for you to fix in your workshop. I don't need a savior to fight my battles while I hide behind his shadow." "I did this for us," Liam shouts, the first crack appearing in his iron composure. "I needed a man who loved me enough to let me find my own way back." Aria replies, "Not a president who manages my life like a PR crisis. I need to know who I am without your final approval." She walks out, leaving the Empire behind. For the first time in months, the silence she carries isn't a cage, it's a sanctuary. 3 months later. The setting is not a glamorous Hollywood theater, but a modest community hall in a quiet corner of the city. There are no red carpets, no flashing paparazzi bulbs, and no corporate sponsors. The air smells of beeswax and old sheet music. This is a charity fundraiser for children with disabilities, a place where voices are used to lift others, not to build empires. Aria Thorne stands backstage, clutching her old silver microphone. Her hands are steady. Weeks ago, she had posted a single, raw video on her personal account. She didn't use a legal team or a PR firm. She simply told the truth, showed the evidence she had gathered herself, and accepted the world's judgment, both the lingering vitriol and the surging support. That authenticity is the ultimate currency. Her bravery sparked a different kind of fire. People stopped looking at her as a fallen princess and started seeing her as a resilient woman. As the curtain rises, Aria walks into the spotlight. She looks at the small audience of families and children. She begins her performance, weaving a story of a bird who lost its song only to find a more powerful melody in the wind. Midway through a climax, her breath hitches. Her eyes drift to the very back row. There sits a man in a simple charcoal wool sweater, the Liam she first met in the park, not the CEO she fled in the penthouse. In his arms he holds Maya, who is leaning forward with sparkling eyes. Suddenly, Maya's small, clear voice rings out across the silent hall, bold and unafraid. "Go for it, Princess Alara." The sound is the final piece of the puzzle, a healing frequency that shatters the last of Aria's insecurities. Aria smiles, a genuine, radiant expression that reaches her eyes. She opens her mouth, and a voice pours out that is richer and deeper than ever before. It isn't just a character, it is her soul, unfiltered and free. After the show, the hall empties into the cool twilight. Aria finds Liam and Maya waiting under a canopy of golden oaks. Liam steps forward, looking vulnerable and stripped of his billionaire armor. After the show, the hall empties into the cool twilight. Aria finds Liam and Maya waiting under a canopy of golden oaks. Liam steps forward, looking vulnerable and stripped of his billionaire armor. He reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out something small and fragile, a tiny, slightly lopsided crown made of painted clay. He places it gently in her hand. "Maya made this for you," Liam says, his voice a soft, steady murmur. "She said a real princess doesn't need to live in a castle, and she made me realize a man doesn't need to be a king to protect his family." Aria traces the uneven edges of the little crown, her heart swelling as she looks at Maya, who is beaming proudly from behind Liam's legs. "I step down as president of Sterling Media, Aria." Liam continues, stepping closer. "I don't want to control the world's noise anymore. I just want to be here, listening to your true voice." Aria looks at the handmade, imperfect gift, then at the man who chose her over his empire. "You didn't have to give up your kingdom for me, Liam." "I didn't," he replies, taking her hand. "I just finally found the world I wanted to live in." They walk together down the leaf-strewn path, Maya skipping between them. There is a profound stillness in the air, but it is no longer the silence of secrets or the quiet of a scandal. It is the peace of three people who have found their own truth. True power, Aria realizes, never belonged to the man in the high tower or the actress on the screen. It belongs to those brave enough to be real, to those who protect their loved ones with nothing but a sincere heart. Under the golden trees, the only sound left is the gentle rustle of the wind and the steady, twin heartbeats of a love that finally found its voice. Thank you for journeying with us through this story of healing and hidden truths. It reminds us that no matter how loud the world becomes, the most powerful sound is the truth within our own hearts. If this story touched your soul today, please give it a like and subscribe to the Soul Stirring Stories channel. Your support helps us continue to bring these emotional journeys to life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of inspiration. Until next time, keep listening to the whispers of your heart. See you in the next story.